Welcome to SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star's daily sports podcast. It's Thursday, June 10th, and I'm Blair Kerkhoff. Star beat writer Shaun, Goodwin, and Sports Radio 810's Ilie Trost are here today to talk soccer on the local and national fronts. We look ahead to Sporting Kansas City's match Saturday against Austin FC and wonder how close KC NWSL is to getting its first victory. After a break, we speak to the importance of the U.S. national team victory over Mexico in the Tournament of Nations League final on Sunday. We had a lot of ground to cover, so let's get started with Ilie and Shaun. We've got Ilie and Shaun. Ilie is back after a week off. How you doing, Ilie?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. And Shaun is back with us as always. He's the Iron Man of this podcast. What's up, Shaun?
Great. I'm just watching Gadi versus Portugal. He started for Israel today, so good day for him. So he's not had too much action yet, but it's fun to watch.
He already has a goal for Israel, doesn't he?
He did. He scored in the last game. It was a nice goal too.
That's amazing. We'll talk some national team soccer in a little while, but I wanted to start local today. We've got Sporting Kansas City playing on Saturday against an opponent that they have faced this year, and it occurs to me that their season was not very well defined the first time Sporting played Austin FC, but it got defined in the last 10 minutes of that game, and what's happened since then. It's just been quite a roll for Sporting. Shaun, do you see it that way as well? It's just down 1-0 into the 80th minute, and then they turn around, win it, and they've played really, really well since then.
I don't think it was redefining moments, I guess, but it's definitely one of those in that at the end of the day, they win that game 2-1 and then go and lose to Houston 1-0 the following game. So it wasn't like the end or be all. This is the start of this run we're currently on now. What I do see it as though is, of course, Sporting did have a little bit of an iffy start to the season after winning the first game. They tied Orlando. He lost to Houston. Who was before that game?
Beat the Red Bulls, tied Orlando.
Real Salt Lake.
That's it. I lost to Real Salt Lake. That's the one.
There, right.
So, if he starts and go 1-0 down, if Sporting loses that game at home I'll say an expansion team. Austin has proved to be a decent team, but nonetheless, it would have been a not too good start to the season, and obviously the Houston game afterwards happens where they lose as well, and you have to be wondering if that could just be a snowball effect. If Sporting lose that game, where morale goes down, and it's a good team, they would have bounced back at some point, but it's always easier to be ahead of the pack and chasing a pack race, and if they lose that game, it very well could have been a snowball effect of other bad results. So to get that late winner, it was a big moment. I think the second half of the Houston game was probably, despite the loss, the 45-minute stretch where Sporting actually started to play their best football.
Yeah, look, there was the Matt Beasler return, right? There was that storyline. Austin's an expansion team, so they kind of get a first look at this club. But since then, like we said, Sporting has played so well. Austin, not so well since then. And I don't believe they've won, Ilie, have they? Have they won since then?
No, they did draw Seattle 0-0, but they did go on. Too. They went on to lose 2 games after the loss at Sporting, and they haven't scored a goal since, which I think is maybe the biggest thing there is that they're not scoring, and they haven't. And sometimes those ruts are hard to get out of. And Shaun, like you were saying, with Sporting having that big win over Austin, and some of the results that they've had as of late, winning helps a lot of things, right? That's true for just about any sport. When you're winning, it makes the just like the things that aren't working seem a lot smaller and easy to fix, and the things that are working seem a lot more consistent and easy to kind of keep up. So I think that Sporting Kansas City is absolutely playing their best soccer right now. they've had this bit of a time off, but on one hand, that's maybe allowed some of the players who were dealing with knocks and not 90 minutes fit, allowed them to get closer to that. But on the other hand, does that get in the way of momentum at all? So we'll find out on Saturday. It'll be a kind of unusual kickoff time with 2 p.m. on a Saturday. We don't typically have that.
Grace. I love it.
But yeah, I'm sure the reporters will be happy about that one. Free up your Saturday night a little bit. But no, I think it's a game that, given how Sporting's been playing, if they can play like we've seen them play in some of their recent wins, then they can beat anybody. That's just a matter of fact. I mean, they've got the talent, and when they're firing on all cylinders, they are one of the most competitive teams in the league that's, eyeing that first place in the Western Conference spot and the Supporters Shield.
Here's my thing with Austin as well. In that case, they go on the road to start the season to LAFC and lose, which is tough to win for anyone there, right? And again, they start off strong, beat Colorado, beat Minnesota, and then come across Sporting KC. But I think what you have to factor in with this Austin team as well is, do you guys know how many home games they've played right now? Big fact, 0. Big fact, 0.
I didn't know that until I read it in your story, Shaun. Their stadium is still under construction.
Their first home game is actually after the Sporting game. They play San Jose on June 19th. But yeah, so it's being under construction. So Sporting has got a last road game. And I mean, it's to be said in any sports, especially sports where you play outdoors and you heat for 90 minutes, adding to the fact that you're traveling and staying in hotels and airplane rides, and you don't have much time to, get back to your home base and chill. And I'm sure that's been a huge thing for this Austin team, and that I think the Sporting loss, or Sporting win for this podcast, was a tough one for them. It almost, it popped the bubble, I guess. And that's got to be a deflating loss, and then just the travelling, everything. It's going to wear a team down. I do think now with the bye week, they've had a little bit of time to go home, to rest up, to actually train in their facility for an elongated period of time. So this Austin team isn't a team, that expansion team or not, it's not a team that should be and will be 11th place in the Western Conference. Once they actually start having home games in front of home fans, they'll have a stretch to just stay down in Texas. And so, yeah, I think with players rested up, bye week, maybe Sporting has lost a little bit of momentum. I don't think Sporting fans should come into this game and be like, Austin's lost every game since, they're in 11th place, we're in second, they'll be fine. Because there's a lot of other factors that have gone into Austin being as low as they are after such a hot start, where clearly when they weren't as worn down and weren't as tired, they're obviously a very good team.
One other thing, though, about their hot start, and that is that the two teams that they beat in those opening games that kind of got them on the map in the first 3 weeks of the season were Minnesota United, who opened the season with probably the worst and most unexpected start in MLS, and then the Colorado Rapids, who opened the season with a draw 0-0 against FC Dallas, and then a loss to Austin FC, and then went on to win their next 3. So they faced two teams that weren't necessarily maybe at their best. So, it's just at this point in the season, things are still pretty fluid. I think, you're starting to see the identities take shape and who teams really are, who's for real, who's not. That's going to, be answered here in the coming weeks. But that's what's, Austin's hot start was more so, I think, a result of just other teams, kind of working through different things. Minnesota United, still not really sure what was going on there, but
caught him at the right time, it sounds like. Well, I usually like to save career news till the end of the show, but this seems like an appropriate time to bring up the fact that Ilie, both of you guys will be attending the game professionally, as you do all games. But Ilie, you'll have a new role.
She's left me. She's left me in the press box.
I am saying so long to the press box, and I will be pitch side as Sporting's new sideline reporter. So I'm thrilled about the opportunity.
That is fantastic. That's great. So Carter Augustine had held that position. He's not in it now. Carter's off to other professional opportunities. Ilie, we're all really, really thrilled for you. That's going to be great. Listen, I imagine this is something that you've thought about and maybe had as a career goal for yourself.
Pretty much since I moved to Kansas City. Sporting was the first team that I started covering when I was pursuing sports broadcasting, totally on the side, worked full-time in just a corporate job, and wanted to break into the sports world, and did that by covering sporting and doing that work early on with the Blue Testament. Got my own camera equipment, went out, and was fortunate enough to somehow be given the chance to go down and interview Vermees after games on the field. That wasn't something that lasted that long, just from a logistics standpoint, but that for pretty much the entire 2018 season. And that really, I think, kind of just propelled my drive to really get into the industry, and then also to eventually, work in a position on more of a full-time-ish or, just contract season basis like I'm getting to now. So this is definitely a dream come true. And I am so excited to work with Nate and Jacob Peterson and the entire broadcast crew. They're all fantastic. And, I got to give Peter Vermees a lot of credit. He, always treated me with so much respect and treated me like I belonged down there, even when I was just, recording and going to edit an iMovie after with my own mic flag that I had made out of like Scotch tape. So he definitely helped, I think, make me feel like it's something that I could do. And I am just thrilled to have the opportunity and look forward to growing as a broadcaster in this new role and covering the team and the sport that I love and the city that I love. So it's really, it doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, it's great to hear. And what a different perspective you'll get on the games from the sideline view rather than the press box. I do love with the press box. I do. I like to see plays develop and everything, but you'll feel the game on the sideline, which is going to be really cool. Good for you. Okay. Hey, before we take a break, let's quickly cover KC NWSL, the Fighting Wosos, coming off a 1-0 loss. Been tough for the expansion team. Shaun, what can we say about this team? I thought Hugh Williams, maybe for the first time, was in a post-game press conference, was, you could sense the frustration a little bit. I think I heard him say disappointed about 3 times in one paragraph, and said something about you got to find ways to win and not lose games. What'd you make of the outcome, and then what Coach Williams said?
Yeah, I'm sure Hugh wasn't appreciating me saying this as much. He's always positive. He's always looking for the best in things, but he puts the most pressure on himself, and you can tell that it's you're this deep in the season now, including that. A Challenge Cup and still doesn't have a win. It's got to be frustrating. It's got to be a little bit disheartening. And, he continues to say that we're getting better every single game and things are looking good. And I do think that these last 2 games, we talked about the Orlando one last week with the given goal that probably wasn't so much a goal. And then you look at what happened in this past game against Houston. They have it appears to be a good goal. It was given offside. It's tough from my angle. I've heard from fans who has a better view that it looked like she was. If it was who scored the goal now, Ilie? It was Lara Cass.
Yeah,
Lara Cass. Maybe fractionally offside, but it was one of those very split-second decisions that's taken away. And he continues to create good chances. And then go give up a late goal, which seems to kind of be a theme as well, and lose 1-0, and it's another loss, and it's another missed opportunity. So it is a mix of they do need to be scoring the chances when you take them. I was at a filling station yesterday and got a nice call from Ilie wanting to chat about it for 15 minutes or so. And it's, they certainly look better than they did 8 games ago. But they just need to be a little bit more deadly when they have the chances, and honestly just be a little bit less predictable, mix things up a little bit. And that's something me and Ilie talked about yesterday, and that pretty football, possession football. It's nice and obviously has its place in the game. But sometimes if you have a quick ball over the top, if you want to catch a defence by surprise, just take it. That's when we've seen Kansas City, honestly, most aggressive, I guess, and most dangerous. It's those late game moments when they're already down and they're sending deep balls into the box. You've got a couple of goals that way, and do that in the 30th minute, in the 40th minute every so often. Catch a defence by surprise. You never know. It's just it's a little bit too predictable right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, Shaun, I think what's tough is that when you look at the last two games, Orlando still, I believe at this point, the first team in the standings currently. They're sitting in first place. Houston jumped up quite a bit with that win over Kansas City. They won the 2020 Challenge Cup last year. They've got a stacked roster. So definitely one of the better teams in the league, even if they're not up there right now as far as standings are concerned. But, Kansas City hung with both of those teams all game long, and the score lines will show it. But if you want to win games, you have to score goals. You can't go out every game and fight for, it should be a goal, of every team to go out and try not to concede. That is, defensively, what teams aim to do, but you also have to score to get those 3 points. And in Kansas City, it's not coming together there right now. They are creating more chances. And I think seeing that progress each game with more chances being created, that will eventually lead to goals. But, when you get done with each game and you look at the number of chances created, there's got to be one or two that you're able to put away. And it was very unfortunate too in those last two games against quality opponents that Kansas City did hang with for, all 90 minutes pretty much. It's unfortunate that, they kind of got, I hate saying they got screwed by the ref, because that just implies that it was like 100% wrong. I feel like it's, depends on who you talk to, but, the goal that was allowed for Orlando that from different angles looks like Abby Smith did in fact swat it off the line. And then the goal called back by Mariana Larroquette, maybe just a hair offside. It's things like that are unfortunate, but they happen in the game. But when you're a team that's looking for its first win, I feel like that is even more frustrating than if, it's just a rarity that happens, in a game. But for it to happen in back-to-back games, I think that's been tough. But I think the other thing too is just injuries, players not being available for the team, for selection, whether it's international call-ups or injuries, when you aren't able to get some consistency going with preferred players or with players who are very dangerous in, scoring situations, that's going to also, limit what you're able to do. But I've been impressed with the depth of the team. I thought, Katie Bowen slotted in and played in the midfield in this last game, was charged with really marking Christy Mewis, and I thought she did a fantastic job. And they've got depth, they've got versatility, and I think they've got the pieces. And it's still pretty early in the season, so it's just going to be a matter of time. But it's going to feel really good, not just for the fans, but especially for Coach Williams and the team when they're finally able to, start scoring goals more regularly and get some wins.
Here's my thing before we move on as well, and we can talk about the Orlando game and a fraction offside for Larroquette. And yeah, it sucks. You do need a couple of lucky breaks here and there, but at the end of the day, you have 90 minutes to score. When you lose a pair of games 1-0, you can't really complain about, oh, well, this happened or that happened because of a referee's decision. Hugh said himself, and it's clear to any sort of sports fan, fans, if they're a little bit pissed off, can make go, oh, the referee did this, oh, the referee on your team, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you have a full 90 minutes to score plenty of other goals. Kansas City did create chances, and it's not like, they lost 3-0 and that would have made it 3-1. There's the fact there's a pair of 1-0 games. If you put away chances in the other 89 minutes of the game, you win. It's the fact that they're not. So,
I don't think that they're using that like as a crutch.
They're not, just as a whole, But
and that's, it is like, to say, oh, like the refs, blah, blah, blah. Like, to your point, yes, like you can't, like those things do happen, and it's just a reality faces. But yeah.
Don't let it decide a game. Exactly.
Right. And look, in when a team's going through what NWSL is going through, the missed opportunities are magnified, right? And especially when you don't have goals to your credit. I've got a feeling though, once they come, they're gonna come in bunches. I do. I maybe I'm wrong about this, but it just seems to me when a team is unfortunate and there's talent on this team, it's going to happen for them at some point. And when it does, I wouldn't be surprised if they broke out with a 3-goal game. They'll just come in bunches. So we hope it comes sooner rather than later. And I'd be remiss if I failed to say that, Ilie, you are in the press box for those games as the color analyst on the radio broadcast for that.
All
these new jobs, they just all kind of happened at one time. But that's been a really cool experience. I didn't do a lot of I haven't called a lot of games as an analyst, but it's allowed me to, I know the team really well. I know the league, and it's been a new thing, and calling, via radio and all of that stuff is definitely different because you don't have the visuals. So there's an added challenge there in making sure that you are at the most possible detail explaining what's going on in the game. So it's been really fun though. And, I love talking about this team. So getting to sit up there and do that and live react to the things happening for a full 90 plus minutes is really fun. So I've really enjoyed it.
Okay, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we've got some international soccer to discuss. Hey, it's Blair. We have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners, unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Stars award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns presented on the kansascity.com site, and it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. Your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star, and that support has never been more important. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening. We're back with Ilie Trost and Shaun Goodwin. We've covered Sporting Kansas City and KC NWSL. Guys, on Sunday night, quite an entertaining soccer game between United States and Mexico. The Tournament of Nations League final. To be honest with you, I didn't know there was a Tournament of Nations League until this year. But they provided me with some entertainment on Sunday. Just listen, we can talk about the fan behavior and that, but I'd rather talk about the action, and we'll save fan behavior for another show. But what a tremendous outcome for the United States to outlast Mexico 3-2 in extra time. Ilie, I'll start with you. What does this mean? Let's say in the short term and the long term. And in the short term, I mean, we got the Gold Cup coming up, and Kansas City is going to be a part of that in July. I don't think we'll see many of the players who suited up for the U.S. playing for the Gold Cup, but they needed an outcome like this just to maybe just feel good about soccer in this country.
And maybe even more so, Greg Berhalter needed that result.
Right.
So I think it was a great win, all in all, for the young players. I mean, this team is mostly comprised of young players. I think the average age is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like 24, 20. It's like it's young. Okay. Like this is not the World Cup qualifying team that lost to Trinidad and Tobago in 2008. The squad that has a lot of young, incredibly promising talent. And I think what that game did was it showed that, hey, yeah, we've seen what these guys have been doing, with their respective teams in Europe, but now we got to see them put that all together as a team repping the US of A. And so I think that it was just a fantastic, just kind of motivating win for the team, for the fan base, for everyone. It sure doesn't mean as much in the grand scheme of things, but I think that the buy-in that you saw from the players to just stay so locked in and play with so much grit for 120 plus minutes. And, Greg Berhalter's so animated, running up and down the sideline, getting balls to, keep the game going. It was just like that passion that I feel like a lot of US soccer fans have felt was missing, for way too many years now. And so, no, you will not see many of those players when it comes to the Gold Cup. That's going to be mostly MLS players. Hopefully, John, for the Sporting KC fans, gets the call up there. This was a mostly European squad or players playing in Europe. But no, it wasn't the best performance for, I think the team as a whole. You start in the opening minutes with that just poor giveaway by Mark McKenzie, and they go down 1-0, but to come from behind and just fight the way that they did. Christian Pulisic's PK just stepping up with so much confidence. Ethan Horvath coming into the game that, as Weston McKennie said, was going 100 miles an hour at that point, making a critical penalty save and just really helping the team as the backup keeper. I mean, it was just, there were so many heroes in that match, and it was just huge, I think, for American soccer. But there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot to prove, but this was a really, really good step in the right direction.
All right, weigh in, American citizen for a year.
American citizen for a year. No, I'm still definitely an England fan through and through, but I was out at Power and Light Sunday night. I got a lift there and back. I was safe driving, just making sure.
Well done.
But no, yes, really fun. Ilie kind of touched on it in that it wasn't so much the win itself, but it was even the manner. It was partly the manner and partly the players involved. I feel like even me being here for the past, I guess decade now, it was watching US teams roll out Josie Altidore and Michael Bradley. I'm falling asleep thinking about it. Just, there we go again, and again, and again. So it was nice to see this influx of youth, and obviously, as Ali was saying, you're all from Europe, and it's not knocking MLS in any way. And I was chatting to Peter about this on Tuesday, about how MLS is kind of taking on this role now. It's not so much the players themselves come from here, but it's either developing those players and pushing them out to Europe, to where you see Christian Pulisic isn't the best example, but Weston McKennie, Brendan Aronson, Gianluca Busio one day, just stuff like that. So just seeing this influx of new players come in with such passion and pride to play for the country. And then I think in the past, we talked about that Mark McKenzie giveaway in the second minute. Teams of US past with our Michael Bradleys and Altidores and Chris Wondolowski, great players, don't get me wrong, but it never seemed to click and be able to fight at that level. If that happens to those teams, I have a feel like they would have just crumbled, honestly. And the US did get a little bit lucky. We got disallowed Mexico goal via VAR. That was made it 2-0. But even then, they fight back 1-1. You can see the late goal to make it 2-1 to Mexico, and they fight back and get a goal almost 3-4 minutes later. And then obviously, going to extra time and the hostile atmosphere of the Mexico fans, even though it's in Denver. Get that penalty, Pulisic stepped up. I feel like he has that very much give the ball to me mentality, which is what you want from a Champions League winner, wonder boy, Christian Pulisic, right?
Captain America.
I know he hates that name, so in case he listens to us, I doesn't want to say it. Just covering my bases.
That was me.
Yeah, no, I read that in a GQ interview we did a little while ago. He hates the Captain America tagline.
That was his penalty kick, though. That was a big time kick.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that to put it in the top corner, like the top shelf, like that's confidence, and you just don't see that from many Americans.
No, you don't. So, Ochoa is a great goalkeeper. He saves those. Sorry, Ali, before you
go ahead.
I think the whole goal was America had to win because over the course of penalty shootouts, I don't think the US wings, Ocho was that good as the goalkeeper, for so going to go to a penalty pure takes a step up and put it in the top corner like that. And yeah, it's big balls.
Well, and it was just looking at both PKs, like if you just showed people watching that and you like made the kits neutral, you would think that the PK Pulisic took was like a Mexican national team kind of quality shot versus what the Mexican national team, the save by Horvath. It was a great save, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't all that great of a PK. So
yeah.
Tim Melia would have saved it.
Oh, easy.
Oh, no doubt.
It could have went to penalties, and I would have been like, Melia is best in the show. We're fine. But I wasn't as confident with Horvath in goal. But I should have been.
Yeah. And like you said, I think, Ilie, you said it, we're probably going to see MLS players in the Gold Cup mostly. And Shaun, I think, and you said it too, what are the prospects of Gianluca Busio being one of those players?
Yeah, no, I would be wholly surprised if he's not including his Gold Cup squads, with it being mostly MLS players. But, and Greg Berhalter, he'll call them up, and then Jackson Ewell starts at the 6. And then Busio will sit on a bench, and we all get pissed off. But we'll see.
We'll give you a story to write.
Yeah, exactly. For better or for worse.
All right. I always learn a lot talking to you guys. I really appreciate it, and we'll do it again soon.
Always happy, so.
That'll do it for today. Thanks to our SportsBeat KC production staff of Derek Donovan, Beth Welsh, Monty Davis, Jeff Rosen, Chris Fickett, and Savannah Smith. Thanks to Ilie Trost and to Shaun Goodwin for stopping by and talking soccer. Links to Shaun's stories can be found in the show notes and on kansascity.com. Hey, we have another deal for you. You can subscribe to Sports Pass for 99 cents a month. That's right, 99 pennies a month. Sports Pass is the online version of the Star Sports section. You get all the stories that appear in the print editions of the Star, plus additional stories that appear only on the website, and certainly they all appear first on kansascity.com. After 3 months, it auto-renews at $5.99 a month unless you cancel. And it's a great time to subscribe. Read about what's going on with the Chiefs, the Royals, the colleges, Sporting KC, KC NWSL, and more. How do you get it? You go to kansascity.com/sportspass2020. That is kansascity.com/sportspass2020. Do you want more than just sports coverage? Check out the entire Kansas City Star product. Sports news, features, commentary, and analysis, the whole thing. You get all the stories written by my talented colleagues, plus additional national news, sports, and business coverage with the e-edition. The details for all of these deals can be found at account.kansascity.com/subscribe. And if you're having trouble hunting down any of those offers, send me an email, bkerkhoff@kcstar.com. I'll get you to the right place. So whether it's the Sports Pass or the full subscription, you're getting in supporting the best sports and news coverage in Kansas City and helping us produce programs like SportsBeat KC. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back on Friday with another episode.